45-degree angles to everything, which is the essence of lining up accurate shots and while bouncing. One hard aim shot combined with a blind fire and one shot distance perimeters. The Death Sphere, a simple formula for close quarters combat. There's more to Gnashering than that, but this covers some of the shooting aspects of the game while standing, not hiding in the crouch like everyone's doing nowadays. No hide and seek games here, just using geometrically deadly moves. Tactics combined with the visual and audio cues, or the lack of visual and audio cues, to figure out how to lure these hiders and dispose of them quickly to continuously keep their support broken up, so that the guys they'd normally be lancering for your adversaries are either respawning or on their way from respawn, which is great because it keeps the enemy channeled in on the action. At that point you can expect them to arrive to the scene of the crime and not go hide in a random ass place to go fishing for some lost wanderers. Keeps the enemy consolidated, which is good. You want them in a general area, lancering side by side next to each other, which I told you not to do one time, right? That keeps you consolidated and vulnerable. What you're trying to do is you're trying to focus on one cardinal direction and not the other three. You want your other three cardinal directions covered by your friends. Keep your cardinals backed up by your buddies no matter what, and you're safe to go. And if they're randoms and they're pushing solo, then what I do is just lancer for them. It increases their chances of survival while also giving me the elimination, which is the equivalent of the kill on my side of the scoreboard. Our buddies get the kill, we all get the kill. This is what the new Gears approach is. There's no stealing involved. It's reaping the rewards for two equally, and for the greatest cause that you can go for in this game, the W. Good tactics are about using every second of time available as soon as the match starts to push further inward to consume most of the map. Utilizing the Lancer properly means firing the Lancer in burst mode, not full auto. Big problem on the map is always worrying about the position of the long shot enemy user to figure out where he or she can actually see and engage with, ensuring that they cannot be a guardian angel to anybody. It's hard to approach a sniper because they can calculate a shot from crouch cover and just pop shot around when the time is right without one knowing what's coming to be able to avoid it. M-bars and torque bows, however, give off sound cues, so it's not a problem avoiding these guys. Grasping control of the map is the key, and it's done with the Lancer first. To test the positions of the enemy, got them up, and you move for a flank, a cross, or maybe a double team on the most vulnerable guy. One of them dies, then I change my current position and just keep moving. Why? Because, like I said, they return to the scene of the crime. It's a tiny form of baiting, which keeps less support away from a certain side of the map, but baiting hiders, that's another thing. I do this by picturing a round spherical shadow, that Death Sphere I mentioned earlier, which outlines my death zone, my one-shot perimeter, and this invisible contour line is wrapped around my character at the length of the Gnasher being up to the character's eye. When my sphere and my opponent's Death Sphere touch, we're both tapped into the critical one-shot death zone. This is the weakness of the up A and the back A maneuvers that no one really considers, along with the weakness of the 45-degree path that the up A and back A requires. The longer the distance from that corner, the weaker and more vulnerable one becomes. The less successful, in other words, to actually performing an up A or back A maneuver. And the telegraphing that goes with that as well as the probability of losing the reaction shot and counter shot battle phase thereafter. The problem in Gnasher battles is counter shots, since it prolongs battles and allows players to step in and assist if the killing did not happen quick enough. Increasing chances of Gnasher counters are only done with active rounds and covering one's body with anything available near them to absorb any damage that could cause the player to go down. To increase the chances of not dying, I customarily rotate my character to show my shoulder side to them. Yeah, it's a bluff technique, but because it's odd, but if one can make that 90-degree to 90-degree look accurately, it not only thins out the character so they absorb less pellets, but it actually sets up a dodge shot at 0-degree angle wall bounce, or one can move one's death sphere to touch their death sphere without giving oneself away by bot walking. I try picturing myself in the opposing player's probable resting location and figure out what I might do if I were in their position facing myself. I counter my own logic thereafter, which tends to coincide with, you know, overall common knowledge, and basically just gamble at that point with a spontaneous move, but finishing the job is another story thereafter, because dodging is one thing, it's hitting a shot is another. Tactical retreats are very common for me. It's either get fortunate and get help from my ass end, or I'm channeling and funneling the hell out of 2 or 3 dudes chasing me. So it's almost a win-win, unless I'm imbibing, of course. Dominating is all about messing up their formation and map coverage, because it then makes it possible to sort of keep track of and control of the players still alive on the field, but without support, while the others are expected to come in, probably prematurely reloading just by bad habit, or are coming in dumbfounded with tunnel vision, worried about their comrades in trouble. All they're doing is closing in on your position little by little, trying to dock with your death sphere. You should be moving away little by little. It's called being passive aggressive. Play hard to get just for the sake of making your battles last longer, not getting chunked in a split second when you engage with a Gnasher. More to say later. Thanks for the support and love. Later, dudes.